Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hallmark. I'm the founder of FAIT, and today I'd like to tell you how FAIT is positioned to revolutionize the $500 billion systems integration market by leveraging cutting-edge AI technology. My AI journey began at Stanford University, where I studied AI and symbolic systems with John McCarthy, the actual father of artificial intelligence. I was fascinated by the complexity of neural networks. And after Stanford, when I joined Infinity Financial Technology to study or to really work in financial technology, I noticed a parallel between financial derivatives and the backpropagation algorithms that are used to optimize neural networks. And that realization really drove me to embrace the complexity of financial technology even further. So I joined a firm called Calypso Technology, where I started their professional services team. Now, in my fintech career, I noticed a recurring problem. The systems integration process that's used to deploy applications into production is highly manual. It's time-consuming and it's costly. Some businesses were spending 5 to 10 times more on integrating the application than they'd spend on the actual core application itself. And when I later started a financial regulatory reporting business at Catena Technologies, we ultimately sold that business to S&P Global. And there I found that the complexity of the integrations was even greater. In fact, sometimes it felt like the projects were so big that clients' teams were practically stumbling over one another just to get their internal systems speaking to the new application. Now, at Catena, we took some early pioneering steps to leverage AI to help automate this process. But what we found was that at that time, supervised learning models, they just weren't up for the job. They couldn't handle the variety of use cases that we were experiencing in production. And that's why I founded FAIT. FAIT leverages generative AI to automate the entire end-to-end integration process, starting with AI-driven data mapping, which speeds up the process whereby systems learn to speak one another's languages by automating the mapping of source systems to target systems, thereby reducing that upfront mapping time from a matter of weeks to a matter of days. Now, it's not just about AI-driven data mapping. The FAIT platform also includes automated transform development, which takes those mappings and converts them into executable code, a runtime environment manager, which deploys that code into a real-time enabled cloud environment, and ultimately an AI-driven test management platform, which automates the generation and execution of test cases. Now, customers who use this FAIT platform are able to move from a highly manual, slow, inefficient process involving multiple large teams to a streamlined, automated platform that automates the entire integration process from analysis and build to deployment and test. And once the application is actually in production, FAIT's AI-assisted change management module can help orchestrate post-production operational changes across all the other components in the platform. Clients who implement FAIT realize significant benefits. First, FAIT reduces integration timelines from months to days, enhancing efficiency and speeding up time to market. FAIT also reduces costs by automating manual operational processes, and it also provides clear insights into the data flow, enhancing decision-making as well as regulatory compliance. And one of the last benefits of the platform that we're building is it's designed to transcend across multiple sectors, not just financial services. And that really leads us to the market opportunity. It's pretty massive. Today, the global systems integration market is valued at approximately $500 billion. It's forecast to grow close to, more than $1 trillion by 2030. And by automating the entire end-to-end integration process, FAIT is uniquely positioned to capture a significant share of this market. Now, our ultimate ambition, of course, is not just to build the platform that solves the integration problem for financial services, but also for other sectors, including telecom, transport, and healthcare. At FAIT, we envision a world where AI-driven integration transforms industries, creating seamless connections that enable businesses to focus on what truly matters. So imagine a world where applications can be deployed in days, not months, where data flows seamlessly between systems, and where integration becomes not a bottleneck, but an actual competitive advantage. That is the future that we're building at FAIT. And with that, I invite you to join us as we revolutionize the systems integration market. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Hey, thanks for the presentation, Aaron. Ian over here was just offering that as a free service from Amazon as long as you buy Amazon products. But in a non-Amazon universe, I guess, I want to talk about the post-production operational changes you mentioned, because I think that really is what bridges FAIT from being a one-time use application during a period of transition to something that continues on. So what are some of those post-production operational changes? That's one question. And the second is, what's the pricing model? Are you charging on a SaaS basis plus an integration fee? How does that work? Thanks.
Okay, great questions. So I'll start with the change management. What we've seen, I'll give a story here that came from the regulatory reporting world. There was a Australian regional bank that had used our trade reporting platform, and we did the upfront integration for them. And they were using one of these big systems integrators to handle all their internal data flows from all their ultimate source systems into, let's call it a data warehouse, something that we could source data from. And there was a regulatory change that required the capture of 3 additional data fields. And in order to provide those data fields to our application, the systems integrator essentially quoted, I think, 6 months of effort, approaching between $1 and $150,000 just to add 3 additional data fields that were required by a regulator. In financial services, whether it's regulation, trading platforms, collateral management systems, you see all types of these kinds of changes. Firms will put in new source systems, version upgrades. Sometimes they'll replace a trading platform with a new platform that offers some sort of competitive advantage. And then that's just on the upstream side. On the downstream side, you can see regulatory changes, reporting requirements, any number of changes that require either new data fields or whole new systems to be integrated into your entire data flow. So ultimately, an example of that particular change, sometimes you'd have a minor reg change that would require putting together a project team, and the ops teams, they wouldn't know what to do with this. They just say, well, I need a new business manager, I need a project manager. The change management module is actually able to take relatively minor changes that otherwise might require ramping up a team, describe them in natural language, and then orchestrate the changes across the analysis, the development, and the testing components. But that's a very right point. The key sort of initial sales point is to be able to accelerate the integration of a new application. But once you're in, then being able to make long-term changes to that in production is key. And that actually drives the potential for what we call a lift and shift model. Maybe a firm's looking at putting in FAIT for the other benefits. It's not necessarily tied to a new application integration, but it could be a lift and shift for a current inefficient process.
So a few clarifying questions. First, the customer is the financial institution, not a systems integrator becoming more efficient, right?
The ultimate end users could be the actual end users for the firms. Our initial clients will probably focus in on smaller asset managers, regional banks, other application vendors, as well as boutique systems integrators.
Cool. And then, so it sounds like you're at a point where you're just starting to get your first customers now, right? It's okay.
Yep.
No issue with that. Do you have a sense of how close you are before you get some customer validation, and also then how complete is the system today?
Sure. I'm sorry, Vishal, I have to go back to your earlier question about pricing, but I'll come back to it. So where we are today, we have a core team of 4 who are focused on building the core platform. We've built proof of concepts. We have the design for our MVP. I expect to be able to go to market with a functioning sales demo by the end of this month, and we're expecting to have something that's production ready before end of year. And sorry, Jen, just go back to Vishal. I overlooked the second question. Software as a service, operating in the cloud, subscription-based pricing. We're definitely not, this isn't a retail or consumer software. We're looking at something like freemium pricing. I'm familiar with the enterprise software space.
Aaron, thank you very much.